Okay, so now with this said, let us start with your actuals. So till you're all understood what is conics, how are we getting the different shapes and everything. Online people, I think I've shared the screen also. All are clear? Or any doubts? Mega, Sandeshri, Chitralekha, Vartika, Srishti, all good? Okay. Yeah, okay. Now, as I said, every C-shaped thing cannot be taken as a parabola. It also has certain properties which has to be satisfied. Okay. So now this is something called as the focal point. Now, if I'm having a parabola like this, For this particular parabola, this is the focal point. It means when everything is getting reflected, it will all merge over here. It will all merge over, right? It will all merge at this particular point. Okay. Now, this point is called as the direct x. Okay. Then, if I'm drawing, what I can tell, okay, if I'm drawing a line central of this focal point, it meets the parabola at one particular point. This is called as the vertex. Okay. V is vertex, D is direct x. Fine. Now, this vertex, I'm going to draw something called as the y-axis. This is nothing but the x-axis. So if this is the y-axis, obviously this point is nothing but 0 cross 0, 0 cross 0. Now the distance of the focal point from the vertex is equivalent to the distance from the direct x. It should be standard. Okay. From D to V, if this is A, this is also A. If this is B, this is also A. This is also B. Always this is standard. From the direct x to the vertex and from the vertex to the focal point, always the distance is equivalent. Fine. Okay. This upper curve is always symmetric to the bottom curve. It is always symmetric. This curve is of the same shape in the bottom. This is always symmetric. About x-axis. Symmetric on x-axis. Okay. Now, a line passing through the focal point and meeting the parabola at two different points. This is, let it be L and L dash. This L dash is called as latus rectum. LR. You can just take it as short form as LR. Okay. This is also the distance or the length of the latus rectum. They might ask you a question, what is the length of the latus rectum, and all these kind of questions. This is always going to be positive value. The length of the latus rectum is always going to be a positive value. It cannot be negative. Fine. So if this distance from the vertex to the focal point is A, then this focal point value is nothing but A, 0. Since this is 0, 0, this is going to be A, 0. Fine. And if there are multiple points taken on this, points taken on the parabola, the distance from the focal point to this point, for example, if this point is something like Z, okay, and the distance between the direct x and this one is always going to be equal. These are equal. This length is also equal. This length is also equal. Okay. Set of points in a plane which are equidistant from point F. And line L. Fine. First we saw what is the focal point and then the vertex, and then the direct x. The distance of the vertex from the direct x and from the focal point is going to be equal. If this is 1, this is going to be 1. If this is 2, this is going to be 2. And the vertex here we have taken it as 0 cross 0. It need not start from 0 cross 0 always. It can shift its places from all to a different position also. Okay. Accordingly, the direct x and the vertex will be taken care of. If this is 0 cross 0, the focal point is going to be A, 0. And this point, if this is something like x, y, so this point will be, if this is A, obviously this is also going to be A. If this is 0 cross 0, this is going to be minus A. If this is A length, this is going to be minus A. So it's going to be minus A, the distance from here to here will be same. So this is going to be minus A, y. Right? Now, sir, is it always the parabola is going to be only in the right hand side? No, not necessarily. The parabola can be on the left hand side, or the parabola can be upwards, or the parabola can be downwards. In all the 4 directions, you can have the parabola. Now, okay, sir, if you can have the parabola in all the 4 different directions, there should be some equation which is going to help us out in solving these things, or in order to find out these things. So how do I do it? Okay. Now this is how the parabola looks in all the different sides. Fine. Now this is in the right hand side. This is in the left hand side. This is in the upwards. This is in the downwards. In this line, what is it called as? Direct x. Okay, great. What is this point called as? Vertex. What is this point called as? focal point. Okay, focal point, and this is the y-axis, this is the x-axis, this is the parabola, and this length, what is it called as? Latest rectum, LR, latest rectum. Okay, and latest rectum is always going, okay, both latest rectum will come. So this, if it is, for example, if this is 2, obviously this also should be 2. The total value is going to be 2 times the value, that is nothing but 4, and latest rectum is always going to be something like 4 times a. 4a. A is nothing but the value what you get. So all those things we'll look into it. Okay. Now, how do I get the equation for this? One equation, I'll help you get it out. Okay. How to get this equation? For this, one basic question, one basic thing. All these things they won't ask, but this is just for your understanding. The distance between 2 points, x1 comma x2 and y1 comma y2. All these things you need not copy, just look into it. That is more than sufficient. So the distances of this AB point, this is A, this is B, is given as square root of x2 minus x1 the whole square plus y2 minus y1 the whole square. Okay, this is what is given. Now, as I said, from this equation, from this drawing, this distance equivalent to this distance. This distance equal to this distance x, right? Let me take it as, again, I'm telling all these derivation, they won't ask, don't worry. So d of, or the distance of PF is equivalent to the distance of PD. If I'm taking this point as P, okay? If I'm taking this point as P, this is P, this is nothing but D, PD, PF. So PF equal to PD. This is what I'm taking. So these both distances are same empty. So now I know how to substitute it. So let me just reiterate it. So the PF, the D value or the D coordinates are going to be minus a comma y. P coordinates are going to be x comma y, and F coordinates are going to be a comma 0, right? So this is what we got from here, from this diagram. F is nothing but a comma 0, and this P is nothing but x comma y. D is nothing but minus a comma. Fine. Now I can substitute it into the equation what I'm having. So first is PF. PF means it is going to be square root of x2 minus, this is going to be x minus a the whole square plus y minus 0 the whole square equal to square root of what? X minus a the whole square plus y minus y the whole square. Okay, or this can be further simplified as x minus a the whole square. I'll square both the sides. Becomes x minus a the whole square plus y square equal to x plus a the whole square. That's it. This becomes 0. So if I expand it, this becomes x square plus y square minus 2ab plus y square equal to x square plus a square plus 2a plus 2x. Sorry, plus 2x. 2x, right? 2ax, not a, 2ax. These two things gets cancelled out. This is cancelling out. Y square equal to this minus goes, that's it, becomes 4ax. This becomes the standard equation for this particular parabola of right side. If the parabola is going to be shifted to the left side, opposite, the mirror image, it is going to be y square equal to minus 4ax. If the parabola is going to shift upwards and downwards, it is not going to be y. It is going to be x square equal to 4ay or x square equal to minus 4a. This is for upwards and downwards. This is for right and left. Fine. This is how the equation comes. 4ax y square. Now, whenever I'm giving an equation of this sort, it means the vertex is origin. 0, 0. The vertex is origin always when I'm giving or something of this sort. Now, the next question will be, sir, what happens if the vertex is not origin? What happens if the vertex is not origin? Okay, you said for origin, you said this is. If it is not origin, imagine that the vertex has been given as h comma k. Okay. Now my equation will become y minus h the whole square or y minus k the whole square is equal to 4a x minus h. Okay. This becomes the equation where I need to substitute the h value and that value and the same thing holds good for the other things. Whenever the origin is shifted. Now, if you identify a, what can you find out? You can find out the focal point. If you identify a, you can find out the focal point. If you find out the focal point, can you find out the latest rectum also? Latest rectum is going to be 2 times up and 2 times down. That is going to be 4a. 4a is nothing but the latest rectum. So that answer also you can find it out. If that is found out, then you can, if the direct x value is given or vertex value is given, you can do anything. So this is how the entire things comes out to be. Okay. Equation I have given you in case if the vertex has shifted its place. For that also I have given you a equation. Just remember it, or it's a basic one to remember. You need not scratch scratch your head more. Only if you remember y square equal to 4ax, the other things you can remember. Right? Makes sense? Online? Makes sense or any issues? All clear? Okay, great. Now, let me give you a first type of problem. Let me see how long are you taking to solve this, and after that I'll help you. Y square minus 4y minus 8x plus 4 equal to 0. Okay. Now, the first question I'll solve, and after that I'll give you a problem. Okay, this is the given equation. In this given equation, I'm asking you to find what is vertex. Okay, what is focal point? What is focal point? What is your A? What is your A? What is your X? What is your Y? Everything I'm asking you to find. I'm asking you to find literally everything. Okay. So now how do I start approaching this problem? This question. Now, whenever you find a equation in terms of y square, what do you understand first? It is either going to be right or left. That is the only parabola which we are going to deal with. Okay. And here the coefficient of x is going to be your latest rectum. Y square equal to 4ax. Whatever is the coefficient of x is going to be a latest rectum, because latest rectum is nothing but 4a. Latest rectum is 4a. That is what I said. If whatever is the coefficient of x, that is your latest rectum value. This is the first point you need to identify. If that is identified, now the first term is done. Latest rectum equal to minus 8. Okay. So this cannot be a negative value. Obviously, it's a distance. It cannot be negative value. So I'm going to take a mod of. So latest rectum equal to 8, or this is equal to 4a, or a is equal to 2. A is equal to. Fine. Here, there is another scenario. A is equal to 2 as per the magnitude or the mod. Mod value A is equal to 2. If there is no mod, A is equal to minus, right? A is equal to minus 2. Keep that. This is very important. This one is very, A is equal to minus 2. So latest rectum value you have found out, that is going to be 8. Fine. Great. Now, once this is done, since this is a equation based on the right side or the left side, we do not want the x term. We are more focused on the y term. So let us differentiate, keeping x as constant. Keep x as constant and differentiate. Keep x as constant and differentiate. In that case, what happens? So it becomes 2y minus 4. If this x is also constant, 4 is also constant. Obviously, this entire term becomes 0. So equal to 0. Or this y is equal to 4 by 2. That is nothing but this is the value of your y. This is the value of your y. If this is y, can you find out x now? Can you substitute this value of y in this equation and find out x? That is going to be 4 minus 4 into 2 is going to be 8 minus 8x plus 4 equal to 0. Plus 4 becomes 8, or 8 minus 8 becomes 0. So x is equal to 0. So now what have you found? Vertex. Vertex is equal to 0, 2. This is the value. So what you have found is vertex. So you have found the value of x and y. That is nothing but the point of vertex. Now answer my question now. A is nothing but the focal point, that is on point number 2, and the vertex is at 0, 2. What is the distance of directrix from the vertex? I'm just asking the distance. If distance of vertex or the distance of focal point from the vertex is 2, what is the distance of directrix? 2, obviously, right? From vertex, if this is the vertex, and from here the distance of the focal point is 2, obviously this also should be 2, right? So remember it. Always remember it. If you forget it, got. Okay. Now how do I find the focus point? Focus point is going to be, since this is y square, your y term remains same. So it remains as it is, as 2. But the x term, what it becomes is 0 minus, what is the a term? A term is going to be minus 2 of minus 2. 0 minus of minus 2 is going to be. So this is going to be your focal point. So now can you draw the diagram and show me how it is going to come up? So this is the way you are solving the equation in order to get x, y, lattice rectum, and your focus point and your vertex and everything. These kind of questions may be asked for your 2 marks. Online, is it clear? Anyways, I'll give you like multiple problems of this sort. You can solve it. As of now, is it clear?